Congresswoman Cammack is here with us now. She's a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee and also the House Judiciary Select Subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government. Great to have you with us, Congresswoman.
Hey, it's good to see you, John.
All right. I think the last time we saw each other was at the Republican National Convention, and we were going to talk about the REINS Act. And here we are. I do not know, Congresswoman, why more people are not talking about the REINS Act right now.
Well, it's probably because regulations are the least sexy topic when we're talking about all the ways that we are working to make government better for the people. But I would venture to say that it is one of the most important. And when you're talking about the REINS Act, a simple way to remember it is it's the only way that we can effectively drain the swamp. The REINS Act restores that authority, that Article 1 authority, back to Congress, the people's elected representatives, to make the rules, regulations, and laws. Because for so long, you've had unelected, nameless, faceless bureaucrats in basements all over Washington making these laws through rules and regulations, enforcing them, and until Supreme Court ruled last year on Chevron deference through the Loper-Bright case, they were judge and jury on them as well. So this is a way that we can not only cut $2 trillion that we spend every year in enforcement and compliance on regulations, but it's a way that we can empower the people and drain the swamp. It's the only way.
This is one of those situations you got to grab people by the shoulders and say, look, this is boring, but it's so important. Please listen to us on this. And the Chevron doctrine, which you talked about before, the Supreme Court tossed this out. What that allowed these agencies to do is effectively regulate themselves.
Yes.
And then while private industry has to deal with all of the government regulations, it's a bad scene. Let's talk more, too, about the entitlement cuts that are going to come someday. We don't know when. Someday down the road, they're going to have to come. I want to point your attention to a piece that Reason magazine published, and they say Republicans, their budget plan is unserious because they say this. It tries to offset as much as $4.8 trillion, mostly for the tax cut extensions, Trump's tax cut extensions, with only $1.5 trillion in supposed spending cuts. You know, I guess the concern from some people is if you guys aren't going to be able to cut now, when are these cuts ever going to come, Congresswoman?
Well, and that's a great point. I mean, to say that it's not serious when, in fact, there have never really been substantial cuts to any of the discretionary or mandatory spending, really, in my lifetime, and I was born in '88, that's never happened. We're facing $37 trillion in national debt. We have our interest on the debt outpacing what we spend on defense. This is an untenable situation. It is not sustainable. And so first and foremost, I would say entitlements, it's not really an entitlement. And we need to remember that this is the people's money. People paid into these programs their whole life. They are absolutely, we need to make good on those contracts and make sure that people get their money. Yeah. But there is a ton of abuse and fraud. In one case, we saw where one address had 15,000 checks that were going to that one mailbox. You don't think anyone had the forethought to say, hey, maybe we should check this out. There can't possibly be 15,000 people at this one mailbox. But I mean, that's what we're fighting. That's what DOJ is doing, is going in and saying, you know, there's a ton of waste, fraud, and abuse. There's overpayments. It's a waste of money. And we don't have money to waste. Right. And so this is our opportunity right now to go and really start making reforms so that we can protect the long-term certainty, health, and financial security of this nation, because our economic security is a big part of our national security. And so I think that it's a great starting place. Is it perfect? No. But I will tell you, I looked at the Senate version, and the Senate wants to cut $4 billion, and that was their floor, whereas Republicans in the House, we're looking to really start paring down government. And well, I think that's what it's going to take. It's
going to hurt. It has to be done, though. And DOJ is just the starting point. It gets everyone excited about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. But these cuts are going to be deep, and they need to come. Congresswoman Cammack, great to have you with us. We'll look forward to more on the REINS Act. Keep up the good fight, Congresswoman. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.